Skynet in 5 minutes. November Tango 5, Tango Mike.
This is the W5SC repeater, PL110.9. ComNet, second Monday at 7 p.m., W5FC.
Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That's correct, sir.
Skynet. Well, yeah, in just a minute here. Well, actually, less than a minute, about 20 seconds. If anyone does need to use the repeater, make a quick contact with a friend, clear, give your ID. Now's the time, because Skynet is coming. Use the repeater now if you need to. that seems pretty quiet. This is November Tango 5 Tango Mike. My name is Tony, and tonight I am filling in as your net control for this session of the Dallas Amateur Radio Club Skynet. Skynet is a weekly net called every Saturday night at 9 p.m. concerning the subject of astronomy, which is one of the oldest sciences there's ever been. Our purpose is to help amateurs become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. This net is open to all amateurs interested in this topic, and we encourage your participation, your comments, and your suggestions for this net. Stations with priority or emergency traffic should not have waited for a scheduled net, but if you happen to have an emergency during the net, you may enter at any time by using the pro words, break, break, followed by your call sign. Again, you shouldn't have waited, but is there any emergency or priority traffic? Okay, I can breathe easy. This is a directed net. Please do not transmit without direction from net control. Tonight, that's me, and stations are reminded to ID at the end of their transmissions. This weekly net operates on 146.880 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9. Check-ins via Echolink, Check-a-links, are also possible using the W5SC-R station ID or the famous Echolink note number 37247, except tonight, I think there is some horrible problem with Echolink. I can't see my favorites. I can't search stations. I don't know. If Echolink is working for you, you should probably mention that when you check in, because it isn't working for me. It hasn't been for a couple of hours. Tonight's topics, astronomy charts, pictures, live audio, video, are all available online. Go to w5fc.org for the complete list. And of course, please remember to tell others about this popular net. We always want more participants. Whether we're sucking your blood or teaching you about astronomy, we're glad you're here. And of course, you do not need to be a member of any amateur radio club to participate. This net is about 90 minutes long and is structured in several parts. We do general announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events, National Space Society events, discussion topics of the evening, What's Up, Space Exploration, Constellation of the Week, Space Lunches of the Week, Recent Astronomical Discoveries, Invisible Satellite Passes over the next couple days, as well as Q&A and a 73 round. Of course, we may not get to all the parts. Okay, again, everyone licensed to transmit on this frequency is welcome and very much invited to check in. So let's begin. Short time check-ins, Please come now with your call sign, name, and where you're transmitting from this evening. I'm looking for short time check-ins.
Kilo Charlie 5, Mike, Papa Oscar, Jamie, Mobile, downtown Dallas. Kilo India 5, Juliet Charlie Mike, Thomas and Euless, no traffic.
Okay, I heard KC5MPO Jamie Mobile, short time from Dallas, and KI5JCM Thomas and Euless. Didn't sound like either of you had anything for the net, but do we have any other short time check-ins? Please come now with your call sign phonetically, name, and location. Okay, Okay, nothing heard, but now is the time why I'm here. This is training for me. I want to take check-ins, general check-ins. Everyone who wants to check into Skynet, please come now with your call sign phonetically, name and location, and I will make my fingers do the typing.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Juliet Hotel Alpha, Chaz, Mesquite, and Echolink is working fine for me. Oh, and Bob the Cat.
November 5, Oscar Foxtrot. This is Clay, Charlie Lima Alpha Yankee, and I'm also a neighbor tag with a
Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu Lima. This is Brenda, and I am in Louisville.
Kilo 0 Foxtrot Echo Romeo. This is Chris. I'm in Southeast Dallas. November 5, Golf Hotel Oscar. This is Lance in Louisville.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Zulu Bravo Lima, Bill, Farmers Branch.
This is Alpha Golf 5 Papa Mike, Rich in Rockwall, and Echo Link is up for me as well. I see Chaz and the Bobcat logged in, and others as well.
This is
Bravo, number 4, Mike Foxtrot, India, WB4MFI, Ted, Dallas, low power.
Charlie Delta, Cody in Dallas. Echo Link's working for me too.
This is Alpha Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert Richardson.
Okay, well, clearly I'm going to have to take my router and hit it with a hammer. I mean, flash it with open source firmware. It came with free security software that keeps getting updated several times a week, and it has done things before like block GitHub, which I can't work if I can't get to GitHub. Apparently has blocked Echolink this evening. It worked this morning, and it has stopped working now, but it's working for the rest of you. So it's probably the stupid security software on my router. So I'm really glad to hear from Chaz and Bob the Cat. Echolink works. There was a station who just said, Kilo, I hope we can get you checked in on a subsequent round. Then N5 Oscar Foxtrot, Clay, Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu Lima, Brenda, Kilo 0, Foxtrot Echo Romeo, Chris, November 5, Golf Hotel Oscar, Lance, Kilo Foxtrot 5, Zulu Bravo Lima, Bill, I'm glad you're home. Travel may be how you make your living, but I don't know. It's a bad pun, but there's no place like home. Alpha Golf 5, Papa Mike, Rich in Rockwall, Whiskey Bravo 4, MFI, Ted with the most beautiful and easiest to understand check-ins we ever hear on Saturday nights. Kilo 5, Mike Charlie Delta, Cody, Alpha Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert in Richardson. Okay, anyone else? Please come now. Call sign phonetically, name and location. This is NT5TM, interim net control for the Saturday night Skynet.
November Victor 5, Foxtrot, Virginia in Fort Worth.
Kilo India 5, Whiskey Whiskey Tango, Joe in Lancaster.
November 5, Romeo Hotel, Justin Rowe.
Okay, I heard November Victor 5 Foxtrot, Kilo India 5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango, and November 5 Romeo Hotel. Thank you for checking in, Virginia, Joe, and Justin. Anyone else?
AG 5 p.m. recheck.
Thank you for your help, Rich. Go ahead.
Hey, Tony, on Echolink, I see Cody, K5 MCD, James N5 TXN, and Bill W5BLT. I don't know if they checked in. I didn't recall hearing them, but Cody, K5 MCD, James N5 TXN, and Bill W5BLT on Echolink.
Actually, I really do appreciate that because I've developed sudden Echolink phobia. Well, my router has. Could I get K5MCD? Is that Cody?
Affirmative, Tony. K5MCD.
Okay, Cody, James, and Bill, welcome to the net. I am sorry. I love relaying people by chat, and no device in the house can access Echolink tonight, which is, again, Hammer or open source are clearly in my future tomorrow afternoon. Rich, can you see anyone else on Echolink? Is there anyone else trying to check in by chat or some, that I just can't see?
KF5, JHA, recheck.
And AG 5 p.m., to answer your question, I see Kelly K5KTX, Point, Texas, AG 5 p.m.
Okay, Kelly, I have checked you in slot 20. I am sorry. I'm going to have to relay you. Chaz, go ahead.
I was just going to let you know about Kelly. This is KF5JHA.
Okay, thank you. And again, I'm sorry. I normally pride myself on being able to take
This is K5KTX Kelly in Point. I was waiting to hear you call for Echolink check-ins. I guess I just missed it. So anyway, I'm here, and hopefully you can hear me. This is K5KTX.
Very good. No, I actually didn't call for Echolink check-ins because my Echolink is not working, even on my cell phone. Maybe I should disconnect from Wi-Fi. But I've got you, and I appreciate that, and Cody and James and Bill. Are there any other Echolink check-ins that we haven't taken so far? Okay, well, I'm glad we've gotten everyone accommodated, even if it took help. That's what amateur radio is for. We do pitch in. Now, general announcements. Do we have any general announcements for tonight's net? These could be ham, astronomical space, or just anything of general interest to licensed hams. Don't make me do all the talking. Bring your announcements now, please, with your call sign phonetically. Really? Okay. Well, the most important announcement tonight is, of course, a reminder that Field Day is next weekend. Field Day is not 2 weekends from today, because June is just a little freaky this month. It has 5 full Saturday and Sunday weekends. So Field Day is not 2 weeks away. It's this coming weekend. Get your gear ready. Find a way to participate, either with an emergency station at home, which I love doing, or with a club, which I love doing too. The Dallas Amateur Radio Club has more details about their field day operation at w5fc.org. The White Rock Lake Club, of course, is at wa5wrl, whiterocklake.org. We absolutely need your participation. Friday night setup, Saturday morning setup, all during the event. And then, of course, overwhelmingly important is Sunday afternoon teardown. We're all exhausted. We love your help. Oh, boy. Please go to w5fc.org and sign up. And if you, a Skynet participant, would like to share information about your favorite club's field day, please recheck here with your call sign phonetically. Does anyone else have any field day announcements? Please come now. Okay, well, just a few other generic announcements. The AMSAT, Amateur Radio Satellite Group, has 2 nets available to Dallas residents on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time. We have the AMSAT Information Net East. This is usually hosted by Tom N5HYP, but sometimes others help and fill in. Everyone is welcome to check in. You don't have to have an AMSAT membership or even have made a satellite contact. We just often talk about VHF and UHF and moon bounce and other cool things, so please check in. Of course, on the first Tuesday of the month when we have the Dallas Amateur Radio Club night, there is no AMSAT Information Net East. The AMSAT Information Net West, which I usually cannot reach, is at 9 p.m. in the Arlington repeater 147140, PL tone 110.9. That's Wednesday night at 9 p.m., and I always have trouble reaching that, which is why I participate in the Tuesday night 8 p.m. AMSAT Information Net East. Dallas Amateur Radio Club has a lot of other nets, and I'm not going to read them all, except to remind you to please, support and participate in our 6:30 traffic net. And remember, we have a wonderful net every Monday night at 7. We also have a meeting on the air tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here on this repeater, meeting on the air. You don't actually have to be a club member. Meeting is just a meeting of friends. And, of course, we have another net coming up tonight, the Afterglow Movie Net. Tonight's Afterglow movie that we're going to talk about, can't watch it on the air, but we're going to talk about it, is called Backward Faces from 2022. The director looked at the actors and then locked the studio door. The actors looked nervous. Then the man opened a giant box from Amazon and looked at his camera person, exclaiming, "This is black and white film. I didn't order this. I ordered a bunch of digital videotape. Where did this film come from?" He nervously fished out a giant cigarette from his plaid shirt pocket, shoved the butt in his mouth, and lit the thing. "I can't believe this," he shouted. Next, he opened a letter addressed to him from the studio. "To inform you," the letter began, "that your movie, Backwards Faces, budget has been cut from the original $1,245 $12.98. We've also included a Domino's Pizza discount coupon to help pay for cast catering. We look forward to your usual expected outstanding results." The director gritted his teeth. He peered at the two actors, and then he shouted at them, "Get in bed. We start shooting now. If you're lucky, when you get out of bed, this will be a science fiction movie." Join us for the exceptionally Aristotelian science fiction film Backwards Faces from 2022 as we continue a month of movies from 2022. We'll talk about it tonight at 10:30 p.m. plus or minus 5 minutes. Please listen, because if the net runs early, we start early, and if the net runs late, we start the afterglow a little late too. You know, part of the fun of being net control is that you occasionally get to say, "But wait, there's more." We have another Afterglow movie coming up. 1 week from tonight, June 22nd, 2024, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. I didn't know my lung capacity was that big. That's awesome. We'll be at the Johnson Outpost YMCA, the DARC Field Day location, 3325 Eleview Lane, Farmers Branch, Texas. Yeah, it's not convenient to my house, but it is convenient to all my friends, and so I'm happy to join them. Kirk's hair rug and Khan's chest hair go hair to chest in the iconic movie rematch at Field Day 2024 at 10:30 p.m. precisely, because we're going to be there, right? We don't have to wait. Everyone is welcome, even genetically modified superhumans. You can keep up with all Dallas Elementary Radio Club events, nets, and activities by going to the club website, w5fc.org. Whew, I'm taking a couple deep breaths now. Are there any other check-ins? Any check-ins by any means? I'm NT5TM, and you should come now with your call sign phonetically, name, and location. Okay, nothing heard, and that means it's time for my cursor to jump up a screen or two. That's weird. Okay, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events. Where and when you can look through a telescope. That's up to Chaz, KF5JH8. Chaz, I'm really glad you're here because I don't even know what's in these slides. Chaz, take it away, sir.
Thank you, Tony. And I'm sorry about my absence the last 2 weeks. I was at the West Texas Star Party and had very little access to internet or even cell phones, so I'm glad to be back. If we have slides, Slide Master, I'm not sure who that is. Could be Brenda. Slide Master, slide number 1. The next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas Club meeting will be held on Friday, June the 28th. The meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. in person at the University of Texas at Dallas, and also there's a Zoom component too. The feature speaker is going to be Ian Lauer and Catherine Nishan. They're an astrophotographer and a painter. Now, Saturday night public observing sessions continue. Skynet was picked to be on Saturday night, so we could have an opportunity for live reports from the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas public observing sessions. Now, today is the third Saturday, and on the third Saturday, the stargazing is held at Cedar Hill. Now, do we have a ham radio operator at the stargazing that would like to make a report? Come now with your call sign. Always hoping there'd be somebody. There's a gibbous moon out there, and there's all sorts of things you can see. Galaxies, if you have dark enough skies, globular star clusters, all sorts of things that I looked at over the last week or so at the West Texas Star Party. Okay. You can check the TASS website at texasastro.org for up-to-date information and details about meetings and public observing sessions. And this is KF5JHA back to NT5PM. I believe that's correct.
It is, and thank you for that announcement. I'm proud to help back Tom up because Tom often backs me up. I just can't make Geeknet, and I call for an emergency. And Tom just goes with it, and he made that extra easy for me with this wonderful script. So let's go next to National Space Society events and activities. Oh, shoot, I haven't heard him check in, though. Bill, N5 Bravo Bravo, November 5 Bravo Bravo. Bill, are you here tonight? Can you tell us anything about the National Space Society? No, I didn't hear him. He may have gone to bed early. The National Space Society of North Texas, this is a chapter of a big nationwide organization, can be found at November Tango X-Ray, North Texas, .NSS, November Sierra Sierra, National Space Society.org, ntx.nss.org. And of course, they also have an active Facebook page. You can find them at National Space Society of North Texas. You'll receive meeting reminders and club activities. And even though you're not a club member yet, he's going to try to rope you in. He will be happy to send you a guest invite to their Zoom meetings. He's not here tonight, but he will try really hard, and I only regret that I haven't joined yet because that would save him some trouble of trying to rope me in. Now, in just a second, I need to read Tom's discussion topic of the evening, which is very interesting. And before I do that, because I'm likely to forget to ID, I'm November Tango 5 Tango Mike. Is there anyone out there who'd like to join us? If you'd like to check into the net, please come now with your call sign phonetically, your name, and your location. Bravo 9, Sierra Oscar Kilo, Sean in Fort Worth. Okay, I heard KB9SOK, Sean in Fort Worth, but I am using my portable RACI station tonight because the birds are already in bed. So I can't easily switch to reverse and hear people. My antenna is too low. It's only about 15 feet off the ground. Did anyone else understand or recognize that last station?
Tony, this is HE5PM. That was unintelligible.
Oh, yeah, but I'm hoping my low antenna was the cause and other people heard it better. KB9SOK, you're checked in, and I'll pause here. If you can improve your power, crank it all the way up, go upstairs if you're in a two-story home, improve your power or position. I'm going to pause here for a few seconds and see if you can try again, or if anyone else would like to check in. Come now, call sign phonetically, name and location, please. Okay, nothing heard, so I'm going to go ahead with tonight's net control topic, And I'm really only the newsreader. Tom is net control even though he's not here. I'm just reading this for him as he's done so much favors for me. Okay, his topic is the Alpha Charlie Sierra 3 solar sail from NASA.gov and other sources. This is an important thing for long-term space exploration because when you're going from planet to planet, yes, drifting aimlessly, well, aimfully but without power, works well as long as you have an unlimited amount of time, which humans, and actually many scientific instruments, do not. So private groups like the Planetary Society and government agencies like NASA are working hard to create practical solar sails so that we really literally can catch the power of sunlight and travel between planets with a lot more power. I mean, it may not seem like much, a few milligauss, but they do add up over the years. So what is ACS-3? NASA's Advanced Composite Solar Sail System, or ACS-3, is a solar sail mission that will test out a new sail and boom materials in Earth orbit. Launched on April 23, 2024 aboard Rocket Lab's Electron, a really awesome electrically pumped, low-cost booster, ACS-3 will deploy a sail about the size of a small apartment from a toaster oven-sized spacecraft. Solar sails harness the power of sunlight for spacecraft propulsion. Space missions like the Planetary Society's LightSail 2 spacecraft have demonstrated that small spacecraft can use solar sails to change their orbits and expanding their possible uses. Future solar sail missions will need bigger sails and even lighter materials to maximize their performance. ACS-3 will use lightweight carbon fiber sail booms instead of traditional metal booms. Heavy. This will be the first test of this technology in space, and success will pave the way for future missions to use even larger sails. So, what even is solar sailing? Light is made up of particles called photons. Photons do not have mass, but yet, we'd all die painfully if they did. But they have momentum. As sunlight reflects off of a shiny solar sail, some of its momentum gets transferred, giving the sail a small push. This push is slight, but continuous, forever. And over time, it can impart more thrust to a spacecraft than traditional chemical rockets. You have to be patient, but it just keeps building up. Solar sails can reach unique destinations that are difficult or impossible to access with other propulsion systems. They are, the text here says maybe, but they are probably our best option for interstellar travel. NASA is developing new deployable structures and materials technologies for solar sail propulsion. These systems are destined for future low-cost, deep space missions. Just as a sailboat is powered by wind in the sail, solar sails employ the pressure of sunlight for propulsion, eliminating the need for conventional rocket propellants, which are heavy. Oh, the tyranny of the rocket equation. NASA's Advanced Composite Solar Sail System, or ACS-3 technology, demonstration uses composite materials. That's a combination of materials with different properties, and it's novel, lightweight booms that deploy from a CubeSat. Data obtained from ACS-3 will guide the design of future large-scale composite solar sail systems that could be used for space weather, early event warning satellites, near-Earth asteroid reconnaissance missions, or communications relays for crewed exploration missions, and that's just not even half of it. I think Tom has already pulled up the artist concept. I have to interject here. I can't wait. One of the first short science fiction stories I ever read was Arthur Clarke's The Wind from the Sun. Go read it. The primary objective of ACS-3 technology demonstration, or of the ACS-3 technology demonstration, is the successful deployment of the composite boom solar sail in low Earth orbit. Unfolding things in space is hard. After reaching space, the ACS-3 spacecraft will deploy its solar power arrays and begin unfurling its solar sail via 4 booms that span the diagonals of the square and unspool to reach 23 feet, about 7 meters in length. After approximately 25 minutes, the solar sail is fully deployed, and the square-shaped solar sail measures about 30 feet, 9 meters per side, a small apartment. A suite of onboard digital cameras will obtain images of the sail during and after deployment in order to assess its shape and alignment. Yes, go read The Wind from the Sun. Unfurling things in space is hard, but once you do it, it's beautiful. ACS-3 has sails that are supported and connected to the spacecraft by booms, which function much like a sailboat's boom that connects to its mast and keeps the sail taut. Composite booms are made from a polymer material that is flexible and reinforced with carbon fiber. Composite material can be rolled, compact stowage, but then remains strong and lightweight when unrolled. It is also very stiff and resistant to bending and warping due to changes in temperature. Big problem in space. Solar sails can operate indefinitely, limited only by the durability of the solar sail materials and spacecraft electronic systems in the space environment. The ACS-3 technology demonstration will also test an innovative tape spool boom extraction system designed to minimize jamming of the coiled booms during deployment. T5TM. Interest in solar sailing as an alternative to chemical or electric propulsion systems continues to increase. Using sunlight to propel small spacecraft in lieu of consumable propellants will be advantageous for many mission profiles and offers flexibility in spacecraft design to help NASA meet its mission's objectives most efficiently, in the awesomest possible way. I think Tom has just pulled up in the ACS 12-unit CubeSat spacecraft bus. It has parts we all recognize, the little solar panels, but also complicated unfurling mechanisms. It's quite a little thing. The objectives are pretty excellent, demonstrate successful deployment. Things are really just difficult to unfold in space, as well as sail packing and deployment systems, evaluate the efficiency of the shape and design of the sail, characterize just how much thrust they get as the spacecraft changes to different orbits, and, of course, collect data on the sail's performance continuously to inform the design of larger, more complex, and generally more awesome systems. Also provided me with some fast facts. This is the first use of composite booms, not metal ones, as well as sail packing and deployment systems. It's not just folded, it's packed in canisters like a parachute for a solar sail in space. The booms are 75% lighter and designed to experience 100 times less in-space thermal distortion, bending, wrinkling, curling, than previously flown metallic booms. And of course, the solar sail has to fit into that little 12U CubeSat that you can see on YouTube right now. It's 9 inches by 9 inches by 13 inches. Even a 12U CubeSat. It's a small microwave, less than the size of the microwave, bigger than the size of the microwave we use during power outages. NASA hopes these booms will be used in the future for 500 square meter sails, basketball court, and follow-on technologies are hoped to be much more productive, 2,000 square meters or more. It was launched on April 23rd on board a Rocket Lab Electron. Yeah, I've already bragged about Rocket Lab, from New Zealand, and it can already be seen from Earth. It is now tracked by heavensabove.com. Yeah, big shiny things. I guess that makes sense. We could see it. In the satellite passages part of the net, I will try to share some of those passages. I'm going to have to read that very carefully. I'm not used to that, but I don't want to skip ACS3. I've loved solar sailing since way before I could drive. I'm fascinated by it. I hope ACS3 is a big success. But we don't know yet. There's a lot of data to gather. This is NT5TM. I'll pause here and first ask, are there any other check-ins? Any check-ins by any means? Echolink, All-Star, RF. If you'd like to join us, come now with your call sign phonetically. Okay, well, that was an awesome topic Tom picked. I wouldn't have changed it if I could. I wish that satellite every success. It's time to talk about WAS Chaz, KF5JHA. Chaz, please go ahead.
Thank you, Tony. Good evening, everyone. This is Chaz, KF5JHA. We call this segment of Skynet What Is Up because it's all about what's going on astronomically over the next couple of weeks and beyond. That was slide number 2, Slide Master. Slide number 3. On June the 14th was the first quarter moon. That was yesterday. The current phase of the moon is a waxing gibbous. On June the 21st is full moon. On June the 27th, the moon is at perigee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth at a distance of 369,286 kilometers. On June the 28th, the moon is at third quarter. On June the 5th, the moon will be new. On July the 5th, the moon will be new. On July the 12th, the moon is at apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is furthest from the Earth at a distance of 404,362 kilometers. I need more practice. I haven't done this in a couple weeks. Slide Master, slide number 4, please. On June the 16th and 17th is the peak of the June Lyrids meteor shower with a few meters per hour. Most of the time you'll see most of the meters just an hour before dawn. To get detailed information about how to observe meteors and meteor showers, you can visit the International Meteor Organization at www.imo.net or the American Meteor Society at www.amsmeteors.org. Slide Master, slide number 5. On June the 17th, the moon and the bright star Spica are in conjunction in the early morning west to southwestern night sky. Slide Master, slide number 6. In the evening sky on June the 17th, the planets Venus and Mercury will be in conjunction with a strong twilight in the west-northwestern sky. You probably don't need binoculars to see this since it's in strong twilight. Slide Master, slide number 7. On the morning of June the 23rd, in the south-southwestern sky, you can observe the conjunction of the moon and the minor planet Ceres. Slide Master, slide number 8, please. On June the 27th, there is a conjunction of the moon and Saturn in the early morning southeastern sky. But later that day, the moon will cult Saturn during the day. At 11:06 and 23 seconds, Saturn will disappear behind the moon, and at 12:03 and 13 seconds p.m., Saturn will reappear from behind the moon. You'll need a telescope to observe this event as it happens during the daytime. And times will vary depending on your location. The times I gave you are for Brookhaven campus of Dallas College. Slide Master, slide number 9, please. The very next morning, on June the 28th, the moon and the planet Neptune are in conjunction in the southeastern morning sky. Now, a telescope will be required to observe Neptune. Not even a pair of binoculars will do. You'll need to have a telescope because Neptune is kind of faint. But they're only about a degree apart, so that might be an interesting thing to see. Slide master, slide number 10. Later that day, in strong twilight, in the northwestern evening sky on June the 28th, Mercury and the bright star Pollux will be in conjunction. And this is KF5, JJ, and this is Skynet. Slide master, slide number 11. Do any of you out there in Radio Land have a question or need a fill on any of the information I've given you? Or maybe you just have a general astronomy question. Come now with your call sign if you have a question or need a fill.
T5TM.
Mr. Net Control, please go ahead.
So I've got an 80mm spotting scope to which I have used a pipe clamp to attach a red dot finder, and I'm really hoping to see Neptune. So my question is, my usual problem is I can't find it. How big of a telescope do you need to see Neptune with that conjunction making it easy to have a big landmark? How big of a telescope do you really need? Is a little, roughly 3-inch refractor enough? NT5TM.
That might be enough. Now, here's what I'd recommend, though. You need to get some good software to be able to get a good Skyman. Stellarium.org is freeware that you can download on your computer and look at a star map to find out exactly its location compared to where the moon is. That would be a useful tool. That way you can find out which little dot that's next to the moon is Neptune. Did that help?
No, it is a good reminder because, yes, I've tried to find Neptune before and, thought I've probably technically seen it, but I didn't recognize it because there's a lot of little dots. NT5TM.
Now, I've been watching some minor planets before. They're closer to us, and actually, if you observe them and then you go out an hour or two later, they've moved compared to the other little dots in the sky. And that's much more useful. But Neptune's so far away, you need to look at it and look at it a couple of days later. But then the moon's going to be in a different spot. Oh, well. All right. So slide master, slide number 12. So as the moon wanes next week, so do these words of this segment of Skynet. Stay safe, keep well, pray for our world. It's the only one where humans live so far. And until next time, actually I'll be doing another segment of Skynet in a few minutes. Keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is KF5JJ, back to NT5TM. I guess you're the alternate net control, aren't you?
My term for myself tonight is newsreader because Tom wrote all this stuff for me. He worked really hard to make sure the net would be a success even though he couldn't be here. I appreciate that effort, and I'm very willing to read the news for him. As mentioned, this is NT5TM, and I like to keep taking check-ins. Is there anyone else out there who'd like to join us? Please come now. Call sign phonetically, name and location, please. Well, always good to know that we've got everyone checked in. It looks like we have space exploration and space history next. Kelly, K5KTX, your call sign is in bold, so I think Tom was trying to tell me it's your turn. This is a great section. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Tony. Good evening, everyone. This is K5KTX, Kelly. Well, early last year, when I sold my house, I had to take apart, I was very sad about this, but I had to take apart all my Lego space models. Yes, I know, I'm a total geek. And then I put them in storage while the new house was being built. I finally had some time to start putting them back together again. The first one is a model of the International Space Station. And, well, I decided that Lego goofed when it included 3 tiny astronauts with the set. There's no place to put one inside the model, so the only place to put them is on the outside, as if they're doing an extravehicular activity, or EVA. And I thought to myself that I believe there have only been 2 astronauts at a time that do an EVA on the ISS, but I decided to do a little research. Well, it's true that there have not been any 3 astronaut EVAs on the ISS. However, there is one in recorded spaceflight history on Space Shuttle mission STS-49. STS-49 was NASA's maiden flight of the Space Shuttle Endeavour, which launched on May 7, 1992. The primary goal of its 9-day mission was to retrieve an Intelsat 6 satellite, or Intelsat 603, which failed to leave low Earth orbit 2 years before, attach it to a new upper stage, and relaunch it to its intended geosynchronous orbit. After several attempts, the capture was completed with the only 3-person EVA in spaceflight history. It would also stand until STS-102 in 2001 as the longest EVA ever undertaken. The capture required 3 EVAs, a planned one by astronauts Pierre Thuot and Richard Hybe, who were unable to attach a capture bar to the satellite from a position on the RMS, or the Canada arm. A second unscheduled but identical attempt the following day, and finally an unscheduled but successful hand capture by Thuot, Hybe, and Thomas Akers as Commander Daniel Brandenstein delicately maneuvered the order to within a few feet of the 9,292-pound communication satellite. An assembly of station by EVA methods, or ASEM structure, was erected in the cargo bay by the crew to serve as a platform to aid in the hand capture and subsequent attachment of the capture bar. A planned EVA also was performed by astronauts Thornton and Akers as part of the ASEM's experiment to demonstrate and verify maintenance and assembly capabilities for Space Station Freedom, which was never completed as designed. The ASEM spacewalk, originally scheduled for 2 successive days, was cut to 1 day because of the lengthy Intelsat retrieval operation. The following records were set during STS-49 mission. It was the first flight of Space Shuttle Endeavour. It was the first and only EVA involving 3 astronauts. The second and 4th longest EVAs to date, 8 hours, 29 minutes, and 7 hours, 45 minutes. The longest EVA to date was during STS-102 in 2001 of 8 hours and 56 minutes. The 3rd longest EVA was during STS-61 in 1993, 7 hours, 5 minutes. It was the first shuttle mission to feature 4 EVAs. The 2nd longest EVA time for a single shuttle mission, 25 hours and 27 minutes. The longest is STS-61 with 35 hours and 28 minutes. It was the first shuttle mission requiring 3 rendezvous with an orbiting spacecraft, and it was the first use of a drogue chute during a shuttle landing. So now you also know these interesting facts. And by the way, the Lego NASA models are, in the words of Elle Woods, super fun. And I've now finished the ISS, the Apollo 11 lander, and the Saturn V rocket, and I just started working on Space Shuttle Discovery. It's the one that comes with the Hubble Space Telescope. I have 2 more, the Perseverance rover and Artemis, so lots of fun to look forward to. Now in space history for this past week, starting with June the 10th, 1971, officials from the United States and the Soviet Union met in Moscow to exchange samples returned from the moon. Lee R. Scherer, then director of the Apollo Lunar Exploration Office, presented 3 grams each of lunar samples harvested during Apollo 11 and 12 to the Soviet officials. In exchange, Alexander P. Vinogradov, the vice president of the Soviet Academy of Sciences, presented Scherer and the other NASA officials with 3 grams from the Soviet Luna 16 mission robotic sample return mission. In his formal remarks, Scherer noted that the exchange represented a willingness on both sides to further cooperation in space. Although the quantity of material is small, he said, its significance is very great. Scherer also remarked that the exchange allowed scientists from both countries the opportunity to study lunar materials from new areas. After the ceremony, the New York Times reported that the officials disappeared to wash down the lunar dust with champagne. Also on June the 10th, back in 2003, the Mars rover Exploration Rover A, or SPIRIT, launched. SPIRIT and its twin rover Opportunity were sent to Mars in search of answers about the history of water on Mars. SPIRIT landed in the Gusev crater in early 2004 and found that Mars was once much wetter than it is today. SPIRIT made its last contact with Earth on March 22, 2010. At that point, it had already operated 20 times longer than the planned 90-day mission. On June 11, 1957, the U.S. Air Force launched the first Atlas rocket from Cape Canaveral, Florida. The Atlas, a path-breaking design in many ways, was being developed as an intermediate-range ballistic missile. On this first test flight, the missile lost thrust approximately 24 seconds into flight due to a failure in the booster fuel system and began to loop around itself. Less than a minute after the initial launch, the missile was detonated by the range safety officer at an altitude of 5,000 feet. Despite the mission's failure, this launch provided valuable information regarding the airframe and propulsion system. After a challenging development program and numerous modifications, the Atlas was ready for military use. A later version of the Atlas was used to launch John Glenn in Friendship 7 and all subsequent Mercury flights into orbit. The launch of prototype Atlas, although a failure, was an important step in the American journey toward human spaceflight. And also on June 11th, back in 2008, the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope launched as the Gamma Ray Large Area Space Telescope, or GLAST. The telescope was renamed that August in honor of Enrico Fermi, a pioneer in high-energy physics. Fermi observes the cosmos using the highest energy form of light, gamma rays. Mapping the entire sky every 3 hours, Fermi provides an important window into the most extreme phenomena of the universe, from gamma ray bursts and black hole jets to pulsars, supernova remnants, and the origin of cosmic rays. On June 13, 1963, NASA signed the contract with the David Clark Company for the development and manufacture of the Gemini spacesuits. The total cost, including fixed fee of the contract, was $829,594.80. Over the next few years, the David Clark Company worked with NASA to develop several modified designs for use on Gemini, G1C, G2C, and G3C. You may be most familiar with the G4C suit, developed in 1965. It was worn by astronaut Ed White during his Gemini 4 EVA, the first USA spacewalk. The NASA-David Clark relationship did not end with Project Gemini. The David Clark Company went on to develop the Apollo Communications Carrier, the Shuttle Launch Entry Suit, and the Shuttle Advanced Crew Escape Suit. And this is K5 KTX for Skynet. And finally, this evening I have some astronaut birthdays to celebrate this past week. Starting with June 9th, 1946, F. Drew Gaffney, who was on Space Shuttle mission STS-40. June 10th, 1929, James McDivitt, who was on Gemini 4 and Apollo 9. June 11th, 1944, James von Hopton, Space Shuttle mission STS-41C and STS-51I. And June 13th, 1945, Ronald Grabe, who was on Space Shuttle missions STS-51J, STS-30, 42, and 57. And that's all I've got this evening, Tony. This is K5KTX. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And some of your space trivia reminded me of a wonderful podcast I'm working my way through, The Space Above Us. You can find it at the eponymous URL, thespaceabove.us. Yes, Uniform Sierra is a valid domain suffix now, The Space Above Us. It is just full of these wonderful insights into individual space shuttle missions, like the ones you covered. I've been enjoying it enormously this past few weeks. I hope everyone gives it a listen, and I really enjoyed your presentation. This is NT5TM, and it's almost time for Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week. Before we do that, is there anyone out there who'd like to join us? Anyone who'd like to check in, please come now with your call sign phonetically, name and location, please. Okay, all is quiet. So again, thank you, Kelly. I really love space history, but I also love constellations. So it's time to call on Chaz, KF5JHA, for Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week.
Thank you once again, and thank you, Tony, for being our announcer, net control, alternate net control, whatever you want to call you tonight. Okay. Slide Master, slide number 13. Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week is named in honor of Silent Key Carolyn, KC50ZT. Carolyn contributed to Skynet each week, almost from its beginning in 2012 until May of 2019, with a detailed look at one particular constellation each week. Since there are about 52 easily visible constellations seen over Texas throughout the year, out of the 88 total number of constellations, so Miss Carolyn covered the entire sky as seen over North Texas in a year. In her honor, we have continued that tradition of a constellation per week and named this segment after her. Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week this week is Lepus, the wolf. Now, the stars that form the constellation Lupus used to be part of the constellation of Centaurus. Together they represented a sacrificed animal impaled by the centaur. The centaur was holding it toward the constellation of Aura. The altar constellation is not associated with any animal in particular until the Renaissance times, when the Latin translation of Ptolemy's work identified it as a wolf. Slide Master, slide number 14. What's really important for Skynet, the jokes of the week. Now, you can, maybe boo or hiss, I won't be able to hear it. You could joyously shout and laugh and applaud, but I won't hear that either. Again, slide master, slide number 14. So I usually try to make them relevant to the constellation of the week. What do you call a wolf that studies philosophy? So, a werewolf. Didn't get it. You can email me or something and I'll explain it to you. The husband said, "Honey, I think I just saw a wolf." The wife said, "Here." The husband says, "No, just a regular one." It's not a werewolf, but just a regular one. What do you call a house that turns into a wolf during a full moon? A warehouse. I saw a stage production of The Three Little Pigs yesterday. The pigs were pretty boring, but the wolf really brought down the house. Mozart runs into a bar, scratched and bleeding, and he can barely stand. The bartender asks, "What's wrong? What happened?" Mozart gasps, and he collapses to the floor and says, "I just was attacked by a wolf gang, and now I'm a dazed." No music, you might not have gotten that one. And the last one for this segment. The Invisible Man, the Wolfman, and Dracula were playing poker. They tried to get the Mummy to play, but he had no skin in the game. The Invisible Man tried to bluff, but most people saw right through him. Dracula ended up bleeding them dry and leaving the Wolfman howling mad. Going at that if you'd like. Slide Master, slide number 15, please. Miss Carolyn was involved heavily with variable stars, so it's fitting that the three stars I have chosen to cover tonight are all variable stars. Alpha Lupi is the brightest star in the constellation of Lupus. It is the apparent magnitude of 2.3 and is approximately 460 light years away from the Earth. It is 10 times more massive than the Sun, about 25,000 times more luminous. Alpha Lupi is classified as a beta Cepheid variable. It exhibits periodic variations in luminosity as a result of pulsations in its atmosphere. It has a period of about 7 hours and 6 minutes. Beta Lupi is the second brightest star in Lupus. It also has a apparent magnitude of 2.68 and is approximately 383 light years in distance from the Earth. Like Alpha Lupi, it's classified as a beta Cepheid variable. It's multiple period variable with a dominant period of about 5 hours and 34 minutes. Supernova remnant SN1006 that I'll talk about later is close by this star. Delta Lupi is another blue-white subgiant. It's an apparent magnitude of 3.22 and is approximately 900 light years distance from the Sun. The star is about 10,000 times more luminous than the Sun and has 12 times the mass of the Sun. The Lupi is also classified as a beta Cepheid variable. It has a period of about 4 hours. Slide Master, slide number 16, please. NGC, which stands for New General Catalog, 5986 is a globular cluster. It's about 33,900 light years distance from the Earth. The cluster has an apparent magnitude of 7.52. Can be found 2.5 degrees in the west-northwestern side of the star Beta Lupi. Master, slide number 17. NGC 5927 is another globular cluster in Lupus, located near the border with the constellation of Norma. Yes, there's a constellation called Norma. It has a apparent magnitude of 8.01 and is approximately 24,800 light years in distance from the Earth. Clustered was discovered by James Dunlap in 1826. Master, slide number 18. NGC 5882 is a planetary nebula in Lupus. It has an apparent magnitude of 9.4. It's also known as the ghost of Uranus because it's the size and color that is close to the planet Uranus in telescopes. Master, slide number 19. NGC 5822 is a challenge object because it's so low in the sky it never gets higher than about 3 degrees above the horizon here in North Texas. NGC 5822 is a large open cluster approximately 6,000 light years from the Earth and has an apparent magnitude of 10.28. Master, slide number 20. SN1006 is a supernova remnant and cannot be seen from the surface of the Earth. The image was taken, that you're looking in the video version of this, was taken by the Chandra X-ray telescope, and it's in the X-ray spectrum. Why am I talking about this unseeable object? SN1006 is important because it was a supernova that is likely the brightest ever observed stellar event in recorded history, reaching an estimated minus 7.5 visual magnitude. In other words, roughly more than 16 times the brightness of Venus, appearing between April the 30th and May the 1st in the year 1006 AD in the constellation of Lupus. This guest star was described by observers across the modern-day countries of China, Japan, Iraq, Egypt, and the continent of Europe, and possibly recorded by North American petroglyphs. Some reports state that it was clearly visible in the daytime. Modern astronomers now consider its distance from the Earth to be about 7,200 light years. And this is KF5JJ, and this is Skynet. Slide Master, slide number 21, please. There are a few more Astronomical League observing program objects in the constellation of Lupus the Wolf. I've just given you a sampling of some of those objects. The Astronomical League has, at last count, 74 different observing programs, most of which have around 100 objects. Now, if you observe just 10 different objects in an observing program each month, then you can earn an observing certificate and a pen in about a year from the Astronomical League. Slide number 22, and that is Miss Carolyn's Constellational the Week, Lupus the Wolf. I want to thank my friends Dave Hutchinson and Dennis Harwell for the research and words on deep sky objects that I use, borrow, and steal from them for every Skynet. I also at times use the website constellation-guide.com for information. Now next week we'll take a look at something that you've heard about before, Scorpius the Scorpion. And this is KF5JJ. Before I turn it back over to Arnett Control, next week, field day, I know of two different groups. They're only about a mile apart from each other. And if I do this right, I can eat dinner at both of them. One is at Fire Station number 2. That's where the Mars group is going to be meeting, right across the street from Brookhaven campus. And then just down the street, some sort of group, I think it's DA or C, I think. They're meeting at some sort of YMCA place right on the same street. Isn't that funny? I'm going to try to do I think, 160 dummy load transmission from one place to another, I think is what I heard. This is KF5JJ, back to our net control. 73, everyone.
Two field day dinners. That's awesome. And Erin actually saw the Chandra X-ray Observatory launch. It's one of her fondest space memories. She really liked hearing that bit of your presentation. So, and on a less happy note, I've been stung by a scorpion. Didn't enjoy that quite as much as you might think. You didn't think I enjoyed it at all. Anyway, this is NT5TM, and do we have anyone out there who'd like to check in? If you'd like to join us here in Skynet, please come now with your call sign, phonetically, name, and location.
November 5 Sierra, Quebec Alpha, Ron, Dallas. I've got science news, but it's not astronomical news. N5SQA.
Well, Ron, why not go ahead? I've got some rocket launches and things, but most of us can't see them. Science news is probably something we can all relate to. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, this is an article in Nature. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but give you the gist here. One of the rarest and most mysterious elements in the periodic table has finally given up some crucial chemical secrets 8 decades after its discovery. Researchers at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee have become the first to use radioactive promethium to make a chemical, and they put this in quotes, complex, a compound in which it is bound to a few surrounding molecules reset. This feat of synthesis enabled the team to study how the element bonds with other atoms in a solution with water. Published today in Nature, the findings fill a long-standing gap in chemistry textbooks and could eventually lead to better methods for separating promethium from similar elements in nuclear waste, for example. The tour de force, says Polly Arnold, a chemist at Lawrence Berkeley National Labs in Berkeley, California, who was not involved in the research. Promethium is the most elusive member of the lanthanide family, a row of 15 metals marooned in the periodic table's southern territories. Reset. Discovered in 1945, the element was named after the Titan who stole fire from the gods in Greek mythology. Researchers estimate that less than 1 kilogram of it currently exists naturally in the Earth's crust, and its radiation has previously been harnessed to power pacemakers and spacecraft. So there's not much of this stuff. One more little thing here. Together with a couple of other metals, the lanthanides are collectively known as rare earth elements, and many are prized for their uses in technology, including lasers and powerful magnets. Reset. Although many rare earth elements are, counterintuitively, abundant in the Earth's crust, they are thinly spread and can be difficult to isolate. That's partly because they share remarkably similar chemistry, which makes it challenging to extract just one lanthanide element and isolate it from the rest. Lots more article about separating and stuff, but anyway, the cool thing here is they've made chemical complex, so they have chemistry that works with promethium and may result in it being easier to separate from the other lanthanides. I think that's enough for now. N5SQA.
Ron, I really appreciate that. That's really neat. Many of these rare radioactive unstable things are known primarily from their decay products. There's not a lot of work done with what they do themselves, their chemical properties. You know, what can you actually use this for, says the engineer, and the scientist says, I don't know, we don't have very much of it. That's really cool. Does anyone have any questions for Ron? Okay, I didn't hear anything there, but please don't take that as a lack of appreciation, because I sure enjoyed that a lot. Promethium is one of those mystery things. So yeah, the fact that they're studying it sounded like a coordination complex in a water solution, that tickles my the part of me that wanted to grow up to be a chemist. So thank you.
In the absence of any questions, I'm going to say goodnight. N5SQA.
Well, that's okay. I'm sleepy too, but I'm going to power through here for at least another 10 minutes or so. But again, thank you for that. I've now got 3 browser tabs open for Promethium, when I haven't looked at that since I was in high school. So you've accomplished your mission for the week, I think. Okay, let's talk a little bit about space launches for the week. Coming up, not earlier than June 18th or 19th, Electron will be launching No Time to Lose. Yes, the city in France. They love puns. From their Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand. This is an awesome rocket. They use electric motors for their fuel pumps. They focus on efficiency. They've been working on reusability, but with parachutes and pulling things out of the ocean rather than with the cool SpaceX-powered landings. No Time to Lose will be the first of 5 dedicated flights on behalf of Kinesis. Sure, I said that wrong. A French Internet of Things company, which also has financial backings from the French National Space Agency. It will be the first of 5 Internet of Things satellite receivers in a 25-satellite constellation. There'll be yet another Starlink launch on June 18th or 19th, Starlink 9.1, opening at 8 p.m. Pacific time, or more accurately for my friends on the East Coast, my in-laws, 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Although they won't see it because it's from Vandenberg. A bunch of more Starlink version 2 satellites going to low Earth orbit from California. 8 minutes after liftoff, the first stage booster will land on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. See, we have a long march to sea on June 24th. No time specified yet. This is a People's Republic of China launch. I hope the booster doesn't fall into a populated area because, unfortunately, China kind of loves doing that. This is a scientific satellite, the Variable Objects Monitor, SVOM spacecraft. It's a dual French-Chinese mission which is dedicated to the study of the most distant explosions of stars, the gamma ray bursts. The satellite carries two each, French and Chinese instruments, and it will be in a, moderately high, kind of a high-low Earth orbit, 625 kilometers up, and should operate for at least 3 years. Well, here's one I'm going to love because I've got a satellite dish on order. I love trying to pull down weather satellite signals. On June 25th, a Falcon Heavy is going to carry the GOES-U satellite. This is a geostationary Earth environment satellite. A really sophisticated modern weather satellite. It'll get a number if it launches and commissioned successfully. The SpaceX Falcon Heavy will launch the fourth and final satellite in the next generation series of geostationary weather satellites for NASA and NOAA. GOES-U will operate 22,300 miles above the equator to monitor weather conditions across the United States. The satellite, Tom provided that, will be numbered GOES-19 once it reaches operational status. And if it doesn't, they'll just turn it off and they'll launch another one. But I sure hope it makes it. These satellites transmit some of the most beautiful pictures of our planet I have ever seen. I want to receive the pictures myself, and like I said, my satellite dish and photos amplifier are in order. Vulcan Centaur is scheduled to launch Dream Chaser 1 on March 26th. This would be the second demonstration flight of the booster, but it will have the most interesting payload, the Sierra Space Dream Chaser cargo vehicle for the ISS. This is a lifting body supply spacecraft very similar to the Air Force's old Dinosaur that will launch on top of a rocket and land on a runway. The space shuttle might have been like that, although it didn't turn out that way. It will be the Dream Chaser's first flight to space, March 26th. I will have to follow that one. I sure hope it works. More Norwegian satellites coming up on a Falcon 9 from Vandenberg on March 26th. What's this? I don't recognize that. The Ares Block 1 rocket from Gilmore Space. Soyuz, a Russian Soyuz launching the Condor experimental SAR spacecraft into a sun-synchronous altitude orbit not later than March 28th, not earlier than. I don't know much about that. So I'm going to skip some of the routine launches, and then the next thing that looks as exciting as the Dream Chaser is Polaris Dawn on not sooner than July 9th. A Falcon 9 will, that was just sometime in July. A Falcon 9 may launch a privately crewed space mission Commissioned by Jared Isaacman, his second trip to space. It's an all-private mission, and I believe this was predicted to include an EVA, although that's not on these notes. That would be pretty awesome if they do that. I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures of their spacesuits, and this is meant to be the first non-NASA, non-Russian, non-government-sponsored EVA ever. It's getting pretty late, and I'm so happy that I'm still awake. This material is interesting enough to keep me going. Thank you, Tom. Do we have any other check-ins out there? I'm Tony, NT5TM. And if you'd like to join us, please come now with your call sign phonetically, your name and your location.
November 8, Whiskey Romeo. AWWR Romy, Grapevine late check-in. Appreciate you, Tony.
Kilo Golf 5, Whiskey Victor Lima, James in Carrollton.
November 5, Lima India Golf, Dale and Dallas on Echo Link.
8 WWR Romy in Grapevine, and Kilo Golf 5 Whiskey Victor Lima, James in Carrollton. You're in spots 23 and 24. Now, we don't have too much time left, but I'd like, Brenda prepared all this material. Brenda, could you pick maybe one of the best recent astronomical discoveries and share it, and then we'll close the net down.
This is Joey B5OZL. Well, it's just one article from Science Daily, and I'll just read a bit from it. Wind from black holes may influence development of surrounding galaxies. Clouds of gas in a distant galaxy are being pushed faster and faster at more than 10,000 miles per second out among neighboring stars by blasts of radiation from the supermassive black hole at the galaxy center. It's a discovery that helps illuminate the way active black holes can continuously shape their galaxies by spurring on or snuffing out the development of new stars. So you can go read this article yourself. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's ScienceDaily.com under Astronomical News. You will find it. And black holes are one of my favorite things. So back to net, WB50ZL.
Okay, very good. Thank you. You did that in a very efficient style. You just introduced it and told us where we could go learn more. So I'd like to ask, before we close the net, is there anyone who has a question about anything we've talked about on the net tonight, be it an announcement or field day, or what the Chandra X-ray Observatory did, or what kind of telescope you need to see Neptune? If you have a question, now's the time
I'm
to ask
completely
it.
operational, and all my circuits are functioning
Anyone with a
perfectly.
question before we close the net, or a final thought, or a final comment, this is your last moment. Please come now. Call a sign phonetically, and I'll call on you in the order you check in. Okay, well, I'm glad everyone covered their topics so well. Do we have any final check-ins? Final check-ins. You won't get to say anything, but this is your last chance to check in. Come now with your call sign phonetically, name and location.
This is Kilo Fox 5, Mike Romeo Oscar, Jet, and McKinsey.
Oh, Tim, I'm so glad we've had a recent repeater service. You were pretty noisy, but there were no dropouts. Did I copy your call sign correctly as Kilo Foxtrot 5 Mike Romeo Oscar?
Yes, that's correct. Kilo Fox 5, Mike Romeo Oscar. Thanks for the
Excellent. Thank you. Hey, it's great to know everyone's working and that we're all ready for field day, and we're all ready to talk more about the nighttime or daytime sky and make more discoveries. Tonight we had 25 hams participating on the air. Thank you to everyone who checked in tonight. I hope you'll join us here next week and every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. The sky is not the limit in amateur radio. Of course, we're always looking for net control stations for this and all of our Dallas Amateur Radio Club nets. Oh boy, let me tell you. If you'd like to try your hand at this or any of our nets, please contact any of the net controls on the air or send an email to nets@w5fc.org. Yes, we do need your help. Also follow topics and discussions about this net and astronomy in general on Facebook and whatever they call Twitter now, as well as our audio and video streams, video archives, and other useful internet resources by going to w5fc.org at the conclusion of this net. Yeah, that would be now. Until next Saturday night, this is November Tango 5, Tango Mike Tony, and I'll be closing this net at 20:32 local time and returning this repeater to exactly 5 minutes of normal amateur use. 73, everybody. Enjoy discovering the universe, and I hope someone will start talking about a movie at 10:37 tonight. Good night, for now.
This is WD50ZL. We're going to start the Astro Movie Night net in 5 minutes. Please join us for our discussion of backward spaces. See you in a few. this is Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu Lima. My name is Brenda, and we are starting the Afterglow Movie Net. Tonight's movie is Backward Faces from 2022. Let me read you synopsis. This is highly accurate. The director looked at the actors and then locked the studio door. They looked nervous. Then the man opened a giant box from Amazon and shouted at his camera person, explaining, "This is black and white film. I didn't order this." He nervously fished out a cigarette from his plaid shirt pocket, shoved butt in his mouth, and lit the thing. "I can't believe this," he shouted. Next, he opened a letter addressed to him from his studio. "We were going to inform you," the letter began, "that your movie, Backwards Faces, budget has been cut from the original $1,245 to $12.98. We've included a Domino's pizza discount coupon to help pay past catering. We look forward to your usual expected outstanding results." The director peered at the two actors and shouted at them, "Get in bed. We start shooting now. If you're lucky, when you get out of bed, this will still be a science fiction movie." So join us for the small SF film Backwards Faces 2022 as we continue a month of movies from 2022. The question is why? I don't know. I don't have an answer. But I searched for another synopsis of this movie and really couldn't find anything much. There were a number of reviews, though, and most of the reviewers liked it. I personally liked it. It was different, I'll say that, but I found it very entertaining. And basically, when you start trying to explain it, it sort of sounds stupid. This couple is sitting on the bed. They just had a meaningless one-night stand, and they're kind of arguing with each other about it. And the guy reveals it's his apartment, that the bathroom is kind of like a wormhole. You go in there and you come out, and you're in a completely different timeline. And maybe that doesn't sound really fascinating, but it really kind of is. And the implications of changing your timeline suddenly are actually kind of intriguing. So we're going to take check-ins now. Regular check-ins, name, call sign name, and your QTH, and tell us you saw the movie. Please come now.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike. Yes, I saw the movie. Tony in Dallas.
Uh-oh. I hope nobody went into that bathroom. We'll never see him again. We have NT5EM Tony. He saw the movie. Do we have anybody from Echo Link who would like to check in? Anybody from any mode like to check in? Please come now.
November 8th, Whiskey Romeo. I did not see the movie, ma'am, but I'm here. Romeo Grapevine, NAWWR.
November 8th, Whiskey Romeo Grapevine. did not see the movie, but you may have some comments once you hear us talk about it. Anybody? Well, maybe somebody will be intrigued to join us. Let's go on and get started. Please tell us what you thought about the plot of this fine film.
Well, I did enjoy this movie. I had a couple of frustrations with it that they could have easily dealt with and didn't. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was interesting. It made me sad in a way that was completely not its fault. I guess I should explain that part first. Way back in junior high, I was taught that Aristotle, the famous old dead philosopher from 2,000 years ago, had talked about how tragedy should follow three rules. There should be only one principal conflict. It should all take place at the same time. If the play runs 3 hours, then the action should take place within 3 hours. And it should all take place in one place because, of course, on one of these old marble Greek stages, you couldn't really change scenes. You were all stuck in one place. About 6 hours ago, when I was preparing to talk about that, I discovered, unfortunately, that although all my English teachers in junior high and high school talked about those unities, they were invented by accident. By accident, by one guy who was really bad at translating Greek. Oopsie. And this was in like 1550 or so? I don't know. It was a long time ago, but not in Aristotle's day. But nevertheless, it was really interesting to have a science fiction movie that observed these unities. These are challenges. Art always requires constraint. Because if you can do anything you want, like one of the psychopathic Kens in this movie, then you can't make art. That's actually one of the best arguments for not translating into a hopping psychopath. With no constraints, you cannot make art or even accomplish anything. So the characters were all stuck in this small apartment. They were all acting in real time, and they were all suffering from one conflict. If you never know what strange dimension-hopping person is going to appear in your apartment, then, they could kill you, they could give you a chocolate bunny. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I thought the core of the plot was actually very inventive. I thought they did a great job of honoring those three traditional constraints, even though Aristotle didn't really invent them. Still, the writers were probably taught the same thing I was in school. They probably believed the same myth that I believed until earlier this afternoon. So they did their best. I thought the plot was interesting. I thought it had at least twice as much dialogue as a 1-hour movie normally has, and that's hard. Writing is hard. It's easy to say, make a big explosion here in this modern world of CGI. Just like right-click on the explosion generator and make the size larger. I know that's not really possible. Virginia has chastised me about that. But I still imagine it's possible, even though I know it really isn't. So, dialogue-heavy movie like this, to me, seems very difficult to write and difficult to act. And I'll get more into that in future rounds. Of course, there was a tremendous plot hole. The wormhole portal that lets you hop between different universes and, randomly shoot your neighbors or make friends with them or whatever you want to do with no consequences is in the bathroom. We all go to the bathroom. Our dog goes to the bathroom. The birds go to the bathroom. It's like the classic potty training book, Everybody Poops. You really wish they had included some sort of control device. you don't automatically hop between dimensions every time you pee. Instead, you have to turn the exhaust fan on, make the water kind of medium lukewarm, maybe plug in a razor. I don't know. I don't want to get translated to a different universe every time I have to go pee. I found that to be a glaring plot hole, and they never explained that. They never explained a way to turn it off, and that really actually, it just kept nagging at me. Other than that, I thought the plot was good. They worked really hard at it. The writing must have required so much effort. All these words, the song was not just 6 words long. They had to write so many words. I thought they made a great effort. I just wish they had instituted an on and off switch for the wormhole, because, yeah, I use the bathroom several times a day, and I don't always want to be transported to a parallel dimension. NT5TM.
Thank you, Tony. Oh, this is WB50 ago. I agree about that plot hole. I would be very upset if I went to the bathroom and came out and my partner had contempt. Well, he turns out his girlfriend of 3 years just met him and has contempt for him. It would be really hard to adjust to. And how would you come out and, where's the book you were reading? And where's the rest of that pie in the fridge? You would have a discontinuity of events and experiences that I think would be extremely unsettling. And I just wouldn't even go in there at all. I would avoid it because, they make a point, you might win the lottery or have something wonderful. On the other hand, you might not. And everything that you've worked for and studied for and paid for and relationships you've built, everything are gone in the blink of an eye. And wouldn't like that at all. And I didn't understand why these people who look exactly the same had such really different personalities. I mean, from being a fairly nice guy to being a total psychopath. I didn't understand that, how exactly that works. Okay, we're going to put this up for more check-ins now. Please come with your call sign and your name and location. Oh dear, well this might be a short one. NT5TM, Tony, do you have anything to say about the characters or characterization in this movie?
Sure. Oh, man. I wish there were more information about this movie on the internet, because we even got a hint. The Kens, I still haven't seen the Barbie movie yet, and Aaron and I both really want to see it. The Kens kept talking about the writer of a movie, somebody named Davidson, I think. And I think that was supposed to be a hint that we should look at the writer of this movie. The writer did have a hard job to do. You've actually only got 2 actors to work with. And, oh man, her name was Tatiana Maslany. I don't remember what the series she was called, where she played a whole bunch of clones and she had to act as like 10 different characters, sometimes 5 or 6 in the same episode. Yeah, that was a tough show. So I really admire the way that some Kens were brutally evil and other Kens were just confused or very actively scared. I think there was a lot of work to do for the actors, and likewise the Sydneys were sometimes scared and sometimes lighthearted. good writing for an expensive movie. Put into this good writing to give the actors some scope, and then very good work on the part of the actors. You could tell the different Kens apart. You could tell the different Sydneys apart, even on short acquaintance. I'm really sad we don't have more people here tonight to talk about this. Because, this was a genuinely interesting try. It didn't catch on. It never got famous. It doesn't have a Wikipedia page. But, man, I wish we had a couple of actors here, in fact, to talk about how do you switch from one character to another. We know they had more time on set, of course, than we see in the movie. They don't just call cut and then you have to switch gears. There could be hours between those shots. But I'm impressed. There weren't just, one or two Kens and Sydneys. There were about 5 or 6 each, and I think that the actors worked very hard to do that. And I did enjoy seeing that. I really did enjoy... You put peanut oil on the diamond pendant. Yeah, that was even nicely foreshadowed. Great writing there by one of the Kens saying, I have a peanut allergy, just kind of randomly. So, good job. Good job. It's hard to be an actor. I appreciated the movie had 2 characters in name, but had approximately 12 characters in practice. I appreciated that hard work. NT5TM.
Thank you, Tony. This is WV50ZL. Oh, I totally agree with you. That was some really good acting, and I have often admired actors who can switch back and forth like that, change on a dime from one personality to another. And I think part of it was the good writing that helped the actors along because they had good lines. And you just wonder what they were thinking. It's like it's just us in an apartment and, and nobody else. And they probably just wore their own clothes, and it was someone's apartment that wasn't reset. If it were me, I'd think, boy, this is a real low-rent movie here. But they went along with it and did a wonderful job of acting these parts. They were completely believable to me. I don't know who these people are, but I don't know if they've done anything since, but kudos to them for this. Oh, I did love the Who's on First bit. Thought that was a little bit of lighthearted comedy and it's in with all this gravity and seriousness. The movie does elicit a lot of discomfort as you wonder what's going to happen to these people, and you just kind of have a sense of doom that things are not going to work out well, and they've got more problems than they can possibly solve here. So, that was my feeling of being uncomfortable for these people. Okay, do we have any more check-ins? Okay, NT5TM, Tony, do you have anything else to add, or really weren't any special effects to speak of, or do you have anything more to say about this?
Yes, the show that had the one actress playing at least 5 main characters was called Orphan Black. I'd forgotten the name. I'd forgotten even how I watched it. Aaron and I had, I think, DirecTV at the time, and we were watching it on BBC America. And she just did so many different things, and we were so, Tatiana Maslany, and we were so impressed. So, Orphan Black was the name of the show, the series that was related to this movie, variety in the sense of actors playing many characters with a short period of time and having to do it all well. It's hard work. I enjoyed their work. Yep, I really wish they could have turned off the dimensional travel if you just wanted to take a shower in the bathroom. But I was so impressed with the acting. Yeah, minimal budget, all black and white, but I got to give everybody a pat on the back. Movies are hard to make, and acting is just impossibly hard. I don't know how to act at all. I'm always like this. I'm always me. So yeah, I was genuinely impressed. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't longer because it would have fallen apart, but I would recommend it to people for, what it was. It's just an hour of your life that makes you think a little. NT5TM.
Yeah, that's the thing. It made you think. And I know there was a lot of techno-babble in there that I don't think it meant anything. They just strung words together. But it was kind of interesting. And they didn't even attempt to explain the science. For some reason, this bathroom was a wormhole or a portal, and what would happen to it someday when the house, the apartment complex is torn down, or other people move in there. You lost your lease, or you had to, you got out of college and you went to another city to get a job. You would lose this ability to time hop like they did, or to dimension hop, I guess. I don't know what you would want to call it. But nothing's permanent in life. You're going to move, you're going to get married, you're going to pass away, and you're going to have kids. Can you imagine if you gave birth and brought a kid into that environment, and what would happen to them? It's really kind of a frightening prospect that you have a partner who you've been together with for years, and you don't know when you go to the bathroom, if you come back, there's going to be them anymore. I wouldn't like that. And you just carry a gun with you every time you brush your teeth or go to the bathroom. I didn't get that part. It would be very hard for me to see someone in the face that looked like me for no particular good reason. I thought that was a little bit cold-hearted. Okay, does anyone chime in? This is WD50ZL.
WWR.
WWR, go ahead.
Brenda, first off, thank you for running that, man. We appreciate you. That's for sure. And this film, I'm actually going to watch this film because it sounds quite interesting. I was out of the room. I was out of the room here though when you gave the title of it, so I'm going to need that because I'm no longer on Facebook. But yeah, this whole bathroom situation, and then coming out, kind of like a wormhole kind of deal. Things being different. Yeah, that's insanity. At this point, I'm doing all my business outside, like everything. I'm not going to that bathroom, like you said. From what I'm hearing, and the first time something happens, that's done. Bathroom is like reset. Bathrooms aren't necessarily you don't do the most cleanliness things in there, but I try to keep my bathroom like the cleanest room in the house, like almost cleaner than the kitchen, because it's just like I feel like it's disgusting in there, and to have it ruined by any prospect of ruining your life or going back in time or losing things that you had, it's kind of interesting, concept. I really have to check this film out. I wonder where everyone's at. Is it because the Ham Fest was today? Everyone is not. They can't do the early morning and then the late night as well. You can't burn the candle both ends. But anyways, this is an interesting film, and I'm definitely going to watch it there. But I'm going to turn it back to Net Control. I just need the title there, please, ma'am. N8WWR.
WWR. The name of the movie is Backwards Faces. It's backwards with an S on the end and faces. And what that refers to is the fact that you're used to seeing backwards image of yourself in the mirror. That's what we think we look like. And if you encountered you would look weird because that's not right. And they do mention that in the movie. So from 2022, it's readily available for free. So I'm sorry it didn't do better because I thought it was really interesting. But I think a lot of people, like me, were unsettled. I don't want to live where you go to the bathroom, you come out, and you don't know what you're going to find. I like the familiar. I want to come out, see my stuff, and not some other person's stuff. But she's there, and I have to kill her in order to take her identity. That's just not a real good prospect. But anyway, it's not my movie; it's their movie, and that's what they did with it. Okay. Well, I guess we'll close out. Next week, we won't do Friday night watching together because we're going to be at Field Day, and at 10:30 on Field Day on Saturday, we're going to watch The Wrath of Khan together there in the YMCA up on the big screen, and that will be lots of fun. And then we'll discuss it the following Saturday night on the net after that. I know we've all seen it, but it's definitely worth seeing again. All right. Well, thanks to everybody that participated, anybody that might be listening and is interested. So, going to close the net now at 11:05. This is WB5OZL clear.
Brenda, thank you very much. NT5TM.